When we moved to Queens in New York, I'll never forget it. The neighborhood that I moved into first was occupied by Irish immigrants, then Italian immigrants, then Jewish immigrants. So we were the new immigrants and literally the new kid on the block. So I remember very vividly boys across the street screaming and yelling racial slurs at me the first day that I moved in. And it really deeply affected me. And I, of course, returned some choice words to them. But fortunately, within a short while, they became my best friends. And I call some of them my best friends even today. The mission, it's really approaching our differences, because there'll always be differences. If not from our background and our culture, it's how we look and what we wear and what we eat. And so if we approach our differences with curiosity, if we can achieve that mission and change people's way of thinking, then that's something to look forward to in the future. When I moved down here to Fort Worth, and to this day on occasion, I get the question, well, what are you? And in my smart way, I'll say, well, I'm a human being. And then they'll say, well, you know, really, what are you? And at least I get asked the question rather than there being an assumption. And I so appreciate that. And then it becomes a conversation. The dialogue begins by understanding each of our differences as opposed to having a preconceived notion of what we are. It will typically begin with a phrase like Jung, any relation to Carl. And then I'll say, second cousin twice removed. And then I'll say, that's not the truth, I'm Chinese. And I also sometimes get asked the question about where in Asia is my family from. So again, it's quantifying and qualifying who I am and what my identity is. Hopefully someone will walk away from such a conversation by saying not only is this individual's family from China and he grew up in New York, but he's also hopefully a good human being, and we actually have more in common than we do have different from each other.